Okay, we have just heard from the governor and a number of state officials regarding the state's response to the coronaviruses across the state. Now, the governor started today's news conference saying that the state is making great progress coming together in an unprecedented time and emergency.
That's right.
But we have seen a dramatic increase over the last 24 hours in the cases of coronavirus in South Carolina.
That's absolutely right. And they actually have announced that they are in the extent at least to 75.
Yeah, and that's something that he wants to see private employers practice as well. But of course, we'll see those. He also talked about thanking a lot of the private companies across the state and delivering some of the needed medical supplies that some hospitals may actually be seeing that they really need and that are hard to come by. We're seeing this across social media. And another thing that we've talked about and have heard, especially over the last 48 hours and over the weekend, was this talk about a possible shelter-in-place order that the governor may or may not put in. Now, he did say that everything is on the table, that they're leaving nothing unconsidered, but right now there is no shelter in place. But again, it's because of the practices that have been put in place by people that is keeping that from having to happen.
Yeah, and we all stand on that as well.
And another thing that the governor talked about was the amount of hospital beds, because he put in several executive orders last week, but also recommendations asking hospitals to cut down on elective procedures and to open up beds and make them accessible for people who may need them in the case of coronavirus. And he said that there are 56 more vacant hospital beds than last Tuesday when he put that recommendation in.
Huge change. Huge change in numbers.
He finished his news conference today saying that you have to assume that anyone that you're talking to has the virus, and you have to assume that you yourself have the virus as well. And if you follow those practices, we can avoid things like a shelter-in-place order.
A shelter-in-place and groups of more than 3 gathering. And also, just to go over one more time, they talked about 298 cases as of today. Actually, that number changed during the press conference, and we could even see them standing there also practicing social distancing. This was the first time that we saw a press conference where they were spaced out and visibly acknowledging the distance there. 298 confirmed cases out of the 2,239 tests that have been taken. That's 34 counties where people have tested positive with COVID-19.
Now, we are also expecting to hear from the president in a little over 20 minutes. We will take you there live when that's happening, but of course we'll focus our coverage here in the state, as health officials have again confirmed 2 more deaths from the coronavirus, bringing the state total to 5.